Hello, everyone. Welcome to Occupy Pro Wrestling, where we chat about our favorite pastime, the great American pastime that is pro wrestling. We are here on a
hmm
special edition of the podcast. Um, WWE gave us some tender loving care for a pay per view tonight, and we are here to chat about it. I do want to say real quick. Uh, actually, no. We'll go into intros real quick. My name is Alex Smiley. You can find me on the Twitch at Alex Smiley Plays. Uh, I'm joined at this time by my pal James at JJ Titan Dog 70 on the Twitch. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Like I said, we had some TLC, and it was some spicy TLC, but we'll get to that later. But I'm good tonight. And as you can see, we are missing our buddy Chris, aka T-Bone is live, who's under the weather, and so we wish him well and everything. But we'll soldier on with him tonight. Without him, though, he wishes the best
Oh
for
yeah.
that. So,
So yeah, take care, T
but
Bone. We'll catch you on the next
mhm,
one. With
yep.
that, we're gonna go. So what we like to do when we do these post show, when we do these post pay per view shows, we like to run down the results real quick. Then we'll get into the actual reactions a little bit more. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and run down what happened. Real quick rundown of the results from tonight. So we had our kickoff match, which was kind of funny because it happened literally. I want to say it happened like 20 minutes left in the kickoff show, something like that. Like they had it was a decent match, but it was like right before like by the time the match ended, it was really close to the end, which is almost expected at this point. That's fine.
Yeah,
In the kickoff match, we had an 8-man tag match that was kind of randomly booked, if I'm being completely honest. Big E,
yeah.
Daniel Bryan, Chad Gable, and Otis ended up defeating the team of Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura after Big E pinned Sami. Big thing coming out of that being that Big E pinned the Intercontinental Champion, and they later on in the show they announced that they would indeed have a championship match on SmackDown this coming Friday, I believe, if I heard that correctly. Okay,
hmm Yes,
okay. So
you
I
are
would
correct.
summarize like because we're now in that part of the year where they like to try to do um the special episodes, so maybe they don't actually have the match or whatever. So
Well, is it next Friday's Christmas? So it's
this
a
is true.
Christmas show. So they might try to end the year on a
Yeah,
big
and
splash.
by the time we get to that point in our actual reactions, I'll probably have a better correction. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
so to kick off the actual main show, we had a TLC match for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre taking on AJ Styles. It was a bit of a wild match, and yeah, it was a bit of a wild match that included The Miz actually cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but that did him no good because Drew McIntyre ended up defeating AJ Styles and The Miz to retain the WWE Championship. The next match we had was for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and we saw Sasha Banks defending the title against Carmella. Uh, Pretty decent match. We ended up seeing Sasha Banks defeat Carmella via submission with Banks' statement to retain the title. After that, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship with the New Day defending the titles against the Hurt Business, and we saw the Hurt Business become the new champions, defeating the New Day after Cedric pinned Kofi.
hmm
After that, we had the Women's Tag Team Championship, uh, as Nia Jackson and Shayna Baszler defended their titles against Asuka and her mystery opponent, which turned out to be Charlotte Flair. And in again another really decent match, we saw Charlotte and Asuka defeat Nia and Shayna to win the women's tag team championship after Charlotte pinned Shayna Baszler. And after that, make sure I've got all my. Okay, yeah, I got my notes. Sorry. Okay, after that, we had the other TLC match for the Universal Championship as Roman Reigns defended the title against Kevin Owens. And in a really, I'd say, pretty gripping, thrilling match that includes, some
Yeah.
really good moments there. We saw Roman Reigns retrieve his title to retain the championship. And in our main event, that I think we're gonna have a good amount of time to be that I think we'll spend a good amount of time talking about tonight. We saw
Yeah.
Randy Orton take on the Fiend in the first ever Firefly Inferno match, and after if I'm being completely honest, a really strange main event, we saw Randy Orton defeat the Fiend by setting him on fire. But we're gonna get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Mm-hmm.
closed out,
But
and I'm actually kind of surprised at how like the show closed out. Like, because basically we saw Orton standing tall at the end. And again, we're gonna get into the specifics on what actually happened,
yeah.
but we saw him standing tall, flames going up and down to end out the show. Really, yeah,
And doing
doing
the
the pose
pose.
and everything.
Yeah. Which
As
now,
Johnny Carson would say, some really wild stuff.
yeah. So really wild stuff. All right. Let's.
So yeah,
Okay.
let's
That's the
the quick
results.
results.
Well,
Before oh,
now with the
sorry,
I want to.
before we
Okay.
transition to our reactions, I do want to take a second to acknowledge a couple recent follows. First off, for the
Yeah.
Fantasy Ad podcast, thank you for the follow. I'm not sure if
Okay.
hopefully this. Let me see uh, if it comes up, it comes up. If not, it's okay. But I also want to thank Late Warrior Lux for the follow as well. Uh,
All
yeah,
right.
much appreciated.
Fantasy ad
Welcome to the
podcast.
community.
I may have to check those out. That sounds like an interesting
Oh yeah.
name right
And with
there.
that, we are going to get into our reaction. So we're gonna break this down a little bit. Um,
yeah.
like
The first, I want to talk about the kickoff
yeah, go
show
ahead.
real fast. Now, I know, because these are the sad part is these are of the all those I know there was all those guys in there were great, workers. It's I like Otis a lot. That Chad, who is now Chad Gable again. He's no longer Shorty G. Thank God. So I should call him Chad Gable. That's fine. And then you had
Mm-hmm.
Big E. Then you had on the other side Sammy, Corbin, and Cesaro Nakamura. These are all guys that, quite frankly, should be on the
Mm-hmm.
main show. If I want to be frank with that. And then Corbin now starting the Knights of the
Oh
Lone
yeah,
Wolf.
which I to be honest, I'm kind of glad they did because like for one thing, it gives the former Forgotten Sons something to actually do that also separates them
Yeah,
from
yeah.
some of the stuff, some of the baggage I would say that's associated with that particular group that was happening. But yeah, as our pal Kai's aka Millennial Madman points out, yeah, Corbin and the boys. Uh, but
yeah,
yeah, I
Corbin the
do.
Boy. It's a new band. It's a new rock band.
But
Corbin
yeah,
and the
I like
Boys.
the way I see it. Every
I thought
king
it was a good
needs
kickoff match.
some knights. So yeah, it
It's
was a
just
fun
nice.
kickoff show. I did enjoy I enjoyed some of the storylines that were evident in that particular match as well. Like the fact that
Yeah,
now you see Chad Gable and Otis kind of teaming up. It's interesting to me.
yeah. I kind of like that. I
Hmm.
kind of like that. Chad is like was kind of like his, kind of like
Yeah,
his mentor. They're doing like, "Hey, listen to me now, like that. Bam. Then listen, do this, and then boom, it works. It's like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. Chad is kind of like his trainer is like, you listen to me, I'm gonna take you to the
Yeah,
top,
like
like that.
yeah,
Maybe they're trying to translate Otis from being such the silly, tucky to somewhat of a serious threat
yeah.
and everything.
I will say the one joke that I had in my mind during that match was the fact that like Gable's current gear just reminded me of like, oh, it's almost like they asked him to just find the singlet that he wore in college and hope that it still fit. Just because there's nothing to that singlet. It looks a lot like it almost looks a lot like one that I would have had when
Yeah,
I wrestled in high school. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
no, yeah. It looked like he like they like do your
Like
Kurt Angle cosplay.
it
Got your
doesn't
Kurt
have his
Angle
name
cosplay?
on there or anything. It literally looks like a college
No, I thought it
wrestling.
was an American flag. didn't have the American
Well,
flag, and
yeah.
then
Well,
they're
no, I
like,
mean, like, it doesn't have like his like it doesn't have anything that
yeah,
distinguishes it as being something other than something he just found in it, and
no,
that's fine. It's whatever. I'm just
yeah,
saying, like,
that's in his
I do
closet.
like.
Yeah,
I
that's in
think
his
it.
closet.
I will
I don't
say
think
that
it's.
it's nice to see him kind of coming back to something like that, if only because it no longer feels as weird and jarring as the Shorty G
Sure.
gimmick.
Yeah. It's what he should have been. He's a shooter.
Right.
He's a shooter. He's like a mini Kurt Angle. You have to treat him as serious as such, and he'd be fine. Which was when they were American Alpha, it worked like that. But now he got his haircut. I think they're trying to build him maybe into a second Kurt Angle, something like that, which he would be
It would be. It
perfectly
would
for.
definitely
And
be.
him
Yeah,
taking
I'd say it'd
Otis,
definitely be nice.
and him taking
Mhm.
Otis under his wing as a student and everything would work because he's turning Otis into a monster
Right.
or something like
It's,
that.
I think that would, and there's something about that. There's something about Otis that I also want to. I'll get to in a little bit here. But yeah. So overall, it was a good kickoff match. A good kickoff show was about as good
Okay.
as you expect at this point. Like usually it's,
Yeah, you expect from
at
a
this
kickoff.
point it's
Yeah.
become, one match, maybe
Usually it's
two
our
if
truth.
you have long enough time, but a lot of good like panel discussion,
Yeah.
some comedy gold from our truth, and some
R-Truth. Yeah. So
another like
they
yeah.
switched the
So
formula
yeah,
up a little
good.
bit.
It
They
was
switched the
good
formula
stuff
up a little.
overall. But yeah.
And it's good to see Daniel
Oh
Bryan
yeah.
in the ring again because I missed him too. I haven't seen Bryan in a while. So and he's cut his hair and he's shaved his goatee. He's now looking
Mhm.
trim and everything. So maybe Daniel will have a nice fresh run coming into the new year and everything. And then so yeah, so we're good with that. Now let's start with the show. What is it? AJ Styles
Drew
versus
McIntyre. Mhm.
Drew
For the
McIntyre.
WWE Championship, which it's weird to me that like I understand that like which title becomes like the top title kind of flips and flops at times, but it's always weird to me when I see the WWE Championship being less
Well,
than the
I
main
think
event of a WWE
because
pay-per-view. I don't know. It's a weird historical
well,
thing.
they wanted to open. Well, they wanted to open the match
Oh yeah.
strong, and I think they also because Drew won, they wanted to open up the match with a
Mhm.
face winning.
I could see that as well.
Because what's happening at the end of the night, they're like, okay, let's at least get the face, win out of the way first, and you have these two guys, Drew and AJ,
Mhm.
can go, so it's kind of like, okay, they're going to open up, they're going to start the show off right, and I think it's a smart move. It's a smart move, and it was a good match. I'm not because both of these guys know how to
Oh,
handle
absolutely.
themselves. AJ's a veteran. Drew is, solid. He's been doing it for a while now. He's no slouch. And I thought it was a great match and everything. And these two put it, and like I said, it was another one where, and we'll talk about when we have the Roman
Mhm.
Reigns and him and Owens match that didn't really have. It wasn't, flips off the ladder. They're not doing
Right.
dives off the ladder. They're using they're using the weapons and everything, but it's not. It's grounded into okay. We got to climb up and get the belt, but we're using these as weapons and kind of still ground based because he was working on Drew's leg and
Right.
everything
Right.
throughout, and then AJ's taking the bumps onto the ladder, but no one's really doing the dive off the ladders. Did you notice both matches didn't
Yeah,
have
well,
really
I mean
dives off ladders?
that's exactly it. Um yeah, I mean that's something I notice on both ones as well. It's like because
Yeah,
you a lot of times, especially the way that fans have been kind of conditioned, we've come to the point
yeah,
where like we'll expect to see like you said, we'll expect to see high flying flips
uh,
and
yeah.
dives and
Someone's taking
stuff.
a
But
huge
it's like
bump or a splash off the
yeah,
ladder, or jumping off the
so
ladder for elbow or hip
exactly.
drop or something like
So
that.
especially this first match, it was really good to see like a reminder that you can have like brawls and stuff.
Yeah,
And so yeah.
yeah. They're weapons, they're tools, and they're not. You don't have to do the dive still to get the brutality of it, which we did get. I mean, he did that backflip into it, and he hit that thing. He bounced, like that, and he got set up. So it was well done. It was a good match, good solid opening match. Then you have Miz pull off the cash in, which story wise you kind of say ill advised. I know what they were doing and everything,
Yeah.
but if you're doing story wise, you're trying to tell Miz that's a dumb move. Wait till the match is over. Then pull that. why why are you adding an extra opponent into your cash in? You're cashing it in, yes, because he's hurt, but you have an extra opponent here. Wait till the guy's done, till the guy's out of the way, then you do it. But then that's what, and then they did the good job was, Omas. We were talking about it
Yeah.
Thursday. Omas hasn't done anything yet, so this was a way to establish. And I said it was going to be, uh, Sheamus was going to come in and stop it. Well, Omas
Right.
came in and
Right.
stopped it. Omas, Omas, and they made him look like a badass. He literally had, he picks Miz off the thing and holds him like a child, which works because he's about 7 foot, and Miz is like 5, almost barely 6 foot. So it's like it dumps him on into the thing, just like
Yeah.
drops him
Exactly. Like,
like a
like,
sack of potatoes.
I really do want to especially while we're on the topic of this first match, I really do want to dive into
Hmm.
the Mrs. Cash, the Mrs. Cash in tonight because wow, there's really something to be said about that, and some of it's good and some of it's not so good. But like, I kind of want to break this down just a little bit here.
Okay,
Like, okay, so
okay,
we had the moment at WrestleMania 31 where Seth Rollins literally like cashed in his Money in the Bank to go like into like to get himself into the match as it was happening, turn that into a triple threat, and
yeah.
then like pin, no pin did he? Yeah, he pinned
It
Roman
was
when it was down
Roman.
basically, and he
He
won the
pinned Roman.
title off
Yeah,
of that. Now,
but but here's the thing. But
no,
that
it's okay. I
okay,
think
okay,
you and
keep
I are
going.
on the same page about where we're going with this. Because here's the thing: imagine doing that, but doing it in a match where you don't get to pin somebody, and
There you
also
go, right there, and that's
doing that
the thing.
like, well, no, actually, yeah, no, that's the real crux of it. Like, imagine doing that in a match where
Yeah,
you don't have to pin. Like, I will say, in theory, it's a good idea, if purely because like like I could see Miz thinking he could just climb up the ladder, grab.
he
Yeah,
climbed and steal it and run.
that makes
Yeah,
sense. I could see that,
that's the thought.
but we saw how it played
But
out, and
here's
that's where I'm kind of like, did you really have to like? And I think you even said this like in our Discord chat, like literally like maybe you should have like just waited until that match was over, taking
yeah,
advantage of.
yeah. Wait till the match is over. He's happy. Say Drew wins and Drew's coming down. He's beat up. He's got the belt. Then you
Mm-hmm.
come in here with a chair,
Mm-hmm.
smack. You knock him out, or just knock him out. He's tired already. He's already had a grueling
Mm-hmm.
match. Then you hit him, boom. Then you cash it in. Then you pin him,
Right. So
and then
yeah,
you
I mean
run.
that's what it boils down to is the concept of what I
Yeah,
think Miz was supposedly going for here. It was a good idea. Definitely didn't work out in his favor. It like a
yeah.
post
But
match
I
thing
think
would have probably worked better in that particular scenario.
in that particular scenario, and the thing is, you go to say is Miz is maybe overthought it. He
I think
outsmarted
so.
himself,
But
and
yeah.
also he didn't account on Omas being there too.
Yeah, see
So
that.
that I think they're going with now AJ's going to have a feud. AJ's going to have a feud with Miz because Miz is going to blame Omas for what happened. If it wasn't for you, I would have won it.
Right.
If Omas didn't come out and grab me, I win this and I cash it in.
Exactly. Like I think that's the one sort of a like that's the only thing that's sort of annoying about Miz failing to cash in tonight like that is just that like we had this whole thing with the Money in the Bank where Otis managed to just randomly win it because like
He should have.
let's not forget that he won that match because the case fell off and basically landed
In
in
his
his
hands.
hands.
I thought it was funny, but they should have did. I wish they had done it, and I know they wish they had done it. I wish they had Miz in the back just walking like his head down, and you see Otis look at him and just laugh at him and walk away. I
Right.
wish they had done that. They should have had Otis just watching him from the side and just he see him and Chad are like talking, and he looks at him and he
Exactly.
starts laughing. They walk away like that. That would have been perfect. Icing on the cake. And he was just like looked at him and him and Chad to start laughing and they walk away like that. And that would have been like the Miz and them could have looked at each other and then you could have cut away. And
Exactly.
I would have ended that story perfectly. You could have no interaction. It was just him laughing because you did all this, you got it, and you failed. And they didn't have to say it, just that look. would have been perfect. I think they should have done it, and maybe they'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. Otis is not on Raw though, so he's on SmackDown. But
Right. So I mean, so yeah, ultimately, ultimately we saw Drew end up winning the
yeah,
match, and that's kind of how that's kind of the end of that particular
yeah, that's the end of that
scenario.
one.
I'm curious to
Uh,
see what happens next.
yeah, that's the thing because I think they're saying they're going into a new era on Raw.
Right.
And I don't know who's the next contender is going to be or something like that. But I did like you said before, I did like the setting up of Old Mass as a badass. Because literally, Morrissey hits him with the chair, and the chair folds around his back, like
Mhm.
like it wrapped around, and Old Mass just sells it, like you done messed. I'm gonna kill you now. Like that. And I was like, that's how you set the guy up as a mean monster, right
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
And I was like, you had to do something to get this guy to say, hey, there's a reason why AJ is hanging with him. And
Yep.
now you know because he seems to be is like he just got hit with a chair and the chair folded up like it was paper mache. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be. They're setting him up as he's impervious to pain, or is he like it's gonna take a lot to knock him down, and there may not be people that got the firepower to take him out and everything, which is fine, which is what you're supposed to do. If he's still green like a pepper tree, which he probably is, you want to just be that they're gonna set up that he's just drops people on their head real fast and walks out, like like what they did with Goldberg back in the day,
Yeah.
or Kali. Remember Kali would come in, chop, step, walk away.
Exactly.
Like
So
that.
yeah. So with that, we'll transition because I'm just realizing we're
Yeah, we
in
got to
terms of time. I do want to try to
hit
go
everybody.
through
Yeah.
this a little bit quicker. So
Yeah.
we'll talk real quick about the SmackDown Women's Championship. Uh,
Uh, Good
and
match again. It was
yeah,
Carmella. I like Carmella. I do like that. I do like that she's the diva. She's a big diva. She's the end all be all. Sasha's got her. She's the boss. So Sasha's not really changing that much. And I thought it was a good match. Now my only problem with it wasn't that I hated that they had a match before this. I hated that they had on SmackDown the week before this match and
yeah,
everything. I know where they're trying to sell Carmella as a threat, and she hit her with the bottle, and they're all trying to do that. But what you did was you wasted an ending. You wasted something that you could have done here to keep Carmella strong
yeah,
and build Carmella up. Is you could have done that ending here with Sasha getting a DQ win, Carmella going, I should have beat you, I would have won the title, but you had to dequalify yourself and everything, and then you had to smash it. Then you could have led into say Royal Rumble, and then go for the big clean finish like this, everything like that.
yeah,
Because I have nothing against the match. I thought the match was great. I thought Carmella looked good. I thought both of them looked great. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just I think you could have done that ending on SmackDown here and built to another match and everything. Maybe a DQ match, no DQ match, or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, ultimately, like, I see. It's weird. Like, I just got done saying we'd probably be going through the rest of this card a little bit quicker, but it's like honestly, at the end of the day, it was a good match. It
Yeah, it's
wasn't,
good match.
if I'm being completely honest, it wasn't spectacular, but it was
No,
good.
solid.
My one minor gripe is that
Hmm.
this match made me realize that beyond some of the new flourishes that they've added to Carmella's gimmick, it's the same gimmick. Like
Yeah,
she just came,
she's
she
turned
basically
up. She's
just came
turned it up.
back. Now she's just now I in a way it's almost like she's finally living up to the Mella is money
Yeah,
catchphrase. Like so
she's turned up.
now she's drinking champagne or whatever. Like
Yeah,
that's her thing. And I was like, okay,
yeah, no, yeah. She's taking her character and she's turned
but
the
it's
volume
fine.
up.
And
Before she was the Staten Island princess, she had that air of I'm money, I'm bank, like that,
right, right,
Carmella. But she had it toned down. She had it toned down that she's
yeah,
blue collar way. That's a blue collar. She's the blue collar. Like I said, she's a Staten Island princess. She's the blue collar. Now she's turned the volume up on that, and she's like, I'm the socialite. I'm the princess now, and I'm acting like one. I did champagne. Snap my fingers. Give me my champagne.
exactly.
I got my
So
diamond. Boom. Like she's
I
turned the volume up
which
on it.
again, my gripe isn't. I guess my gripe isn't that I don't like what she's doing. It's just that that's all they're. I don't know. I guess
Well,
it's
here's
not
the
too
thing.
bad
Like
that
I
it's
said,
that's like.
it
But
would have
anyways,
worked if you build her up as credible. Again, they hot shot her right to a title match.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I've noticed that a few times. Like I've noticed that every once in a while, especially if it's like either a debut or it's like a re-debut, like where they do some kind of gimmick change or something. Like they do kind of hotshot someone towards immediately like,
Yeah,
oh, this change in attitude is what's driven this person to get but it's like,
and normally you would have done with something like this is you would have had her establish herself, beating some females and setting her
right,
character up, and then taking her at the turn.
right,
And that's the issue that comes with. We've always said it with the E is they're running things so quickly. They're running through things so fast that they're skipping steps.
right,
Because her step would have been she should have established herself, should have beat a few people, and then come at Sasha, not just right into it. That's why I said they skipped that match on Friday. Should have happened now. That should have been that match. That should have been her getting maybe a DQ win over Sasha, and then setting up, say, hey, I beat you, but you cheated to hold your title, and then having her legit going after her again like that, and then establishing her character, and then having her, say, maybe fighting a few ladies, and then, establishing going to that. That's what you could have done.
yeah,
Like I said, they just sped through it real fast and everything. And again, it's a serviceable match, but you can see just the short steps.
mm-hmm.
And that might be because, again, I don't know why, but it's like they seem to relegate the ladies. They don't want to. I don't know if they want to do the ladies matches like this, or if they want to treat the ladies like the men. They have to start having the ladies fight each other more in a more mix. They're not doing that as much. Well, again, but that's a gripe. That's a nitpick. Don't worry
No, you're
about
fine. Yeah, yeah.
that. But what's our, and like I said, the other was what was the next match after that?
After that we had the Raw Tag Team Championship. We had the Hurt Business taking
Okay,
on the New Day, and we saw like I said in the results, the Hurt Business ended up picking up the win. Um,
right move.
it was a good match. It was a great
Good
it
match.
was a really good match. Like to be really honest,
Yeah. Well, honestly, these are two.
yeah.
Kofi and Kofi and Xavier are they work
Oh,
well together.
absolutely.
They're great.
And like,
They work. They're like that. And then Cedric is a
mhm,
talent. Shelton Benjamin is a solid. Shelton Benjamin
mhm,
is Shelton Benjamin is Shelton Benjamin. He gold standard.
exactly. Like
He should have been he could have been world champion.
he'll always do a really good job of being like he'll always have a really solid like
Yeah, yeah.
repertoire
Shelton Benjamin
within
is
the match.
he,
Um,
he's a high standard when it comes to.
mhm,
If you have a Shelton Benjamin in a match, it's not gonna be a bad match. I'll tell you that right now. So, and Cedric, Cedric Alexander is fantastic also and everything. He's gonna be a
mhm,
star. He's a future star. So yeah, this and then New Day losing is fine because
yeah,
they really honest with you, they don't. The belt is fantastic, but they don't really need the belt much at this
right.
point. Hurt Business winning the title is setting the Hurt Business up as the new top faction on Raw.
Mhm,
Like I said before, like I said in the Discord, they're the new look horsemen right
right.
now. They look like $1,000,000. They dress like it. They come out in the suits. They're this generation's version of horsemen now. Trying to be their version of horsemen, and it works. It works because you have, like I said before, you have Bobby Lashley's the muscle, the star. He's Ric Flair. And then MVP is right now JJ Dillon. He's the
Mhm,
mouth and everything. You have I said Shelton's like Tully Blanchard, or you could be Arn Anderson if you want to. You go either way with that one.
mhm,
And then Cedric's like a young, he could be like Brian Pillman, or you want to go my version of Horseman like Barry Windham. The only one they don't have is like an Arn Anderson. The MVPs kind of can fit that both mold. But if they have one more guy and everything, that's like the
yeah.
enforcer, they can go that route.
Um,
Wanted to.
yeah.
But MVP kind of fills that role.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure. One other thing I want to address from that match that I think was interesting to note was the finish. Because you brought up like them winning does
yeah,
establish them as having because
t-
now the Hurt Business has all the gold, and they made it a point to bring that up in the post match commentary.
yep,
But the finish, and from what I recall, we've seen this kind of teased in the past, like on Raw and stuff. The finish
I saw it too.
involved Cedric getting a blind tag in before hitting the lumbar check to get the pin, and you could tell that Shelton
Yeah,
wasn't
so
happy about the blind tag, even though in this case like they won the match. So it's like,
they won the belt. Yeah, but so you can see the look on Shelton's face, like, "What you just do, man? I had it set up. Why'd you do that?" I can see where they're going with this. Cedric's going with I think they're going with Cedric's going to get a
right,
big
right.
head
And
out of this.
I see Kai's
I
point.
think,
Like the worry here is that Cedric basically annoys the group and they boot him out. And it's like it seems a little early to actually go and do that because of all the work that they put in
the,
to establish the group,
yeah,
all the work they put in to recruit people, the fact that they finally got someone to join the group with a change in attitude and everything. And on top of that, they've spent all this time to build this group up. Now we have a group that holds multiple championships within the group. Now is a
or
weird time to start teasing
well,
Cedric
I
being
mean,
booted or
well,
something.
it's a good way to open up Cedric thing. But here's the thing too,
Uh
it
huh.
could go the other way too, or Cedric annoys Shelton, and the guys back Cedric, not Shelton, and they kick Shelton out,
Yeah, I could actually see that being a possibility as
and
well.
Shelton
Like,
going face over that.
yeah,
That's a
and
that they could go. Now I could go that route because you can do that as he Shelton, like he can do it because they kind of did it with the Rock. They can do it like that where Cedric, yeah, he's got that. uh yeah, like I said, Shelton's like the breadwinner. He's the young
yep,
talent,
yeah, I
and
can see that.
MVP, and Shelton could be telling MVP, why what's doing that. MVP like, yeah, you're kind of right. And then when it comes to MVP, does the swerve, hits Shelton, bam. It's like
Right,
he
because
backs
it's
Ced and goes,
because
Ced's the breadwinner here.
right,
He's the guy.
because the only thing Shelton's like realistically, the one thing Shelton has really brought, like Shelton's brought a lot of like talent to the table. But as far
Hmm.
as like the slightly short-sighted goal of holding championships, if I remember correctly, Shelton's only championship prior to this as part of the Hurt Business was literally winning the 24/7
24/7
championship,
belt. Yep.
which is a completely different like thing
Yep.
entirely cuz that,
Yeah.
cuz
Shelton
you've
hasn't had
got
it. Yeah.
cuz
This
that's
is Shelton's first belt in what, 10 years?
right, aside from that
Yes.
24/7 title, this is his first belt in
Almost 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been
So
about 10.
it's
2010, I think. 2009. I gotta look
I
that
think
up.
so. Yeah,
But
and his
it's his
first tag
first
title in
WWE
17
title
years. Yeah,
in
as Kaiser
17
pointed
something
out.
years.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. And this is his first WWE other than the 24/7 belt.
yeah,
Tag team titles, yeah, 17 years. Thank you, guys. Yeah, in the chat. Yeah, so yeah, I can see them going that route. And it could be a slow burn. I don't know. Maybe they are going to do a slow burn on this. Maybe they're teasing it. It could be 6 months down the line or something like that, where they're
right,
champion. Oh, a couple of months down. I don't know how they're going to do it. Probably a few months, where Cedric starts getting that big head. Like he's like, I called it. I did my promo. I told you I was going to have the belt here, and because of me. And then you can have Shelton looking at him like, okay, like
yeah,
that, and
exactly.
start you start annoying Shelton. Then Shelton tries to tell MVP, and MVP's kind of be like, yeah, yeah, I think I'll talk to him and everything. Like then suddenly you have that comes to a head, and then MVP just they back Cedric and they kick Shelton out and everything like that. And then Shelton can and then you can even go into that Shelton goes with Apollo Crews and everything, and that's where you can bring Apollo Crews back into this. If you want Shelton gets back for Apollo Crews to back him up to take on the Hurt Business.
Hmm.
Like that. So you can swing it back in a circle like that. But yeah, other than that, I think it was a good win for the Hurt Business. I think they need to do it. They're trying to establish them as the top heel, and them getting the belts and everything like that, and having New Day chase them. Everything it's going to work and everything, and build toward Rumble going from there. So, and like I said, Raw needs more tag team blood anyway. So, but yeah, so I
Yeah,
thought it was. It worked. I think the right people won on this one.
yeah. Um, there, yeah. So yeah,
All right.
overall this was a good match. I'm excited to see where we go with this. I wish I had had as much foresight as you and Chris did to actually go ahead and pick Hurt Business to win
Oh,
this. But honestly, you
don't
guys
worry
just
about that one.
I bring it up because the logic you guys had in picking them actually makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense for them to win this
Yeah,
So yeah,
it was just it seemed like it was the right move to
yeah.
do. 'Cause
Oh, for sure.
it's not that I like New Day a lot. It's just that they don't really need the belts right now.
No,
I
right,
mean,
right, right, right.
and
Um,
all right, then we have we did have a couple of backstage segments and everything.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm gonna have a quick look
I
at.
want to address that. I do like Sammy. I had to admit though, Sammy is growing. I mean, Sammy's just this. He's playing this character to a T.
Oh yeah,
He's just that whiny, talkative. You just want to smack him when you see him and everything. And the problem is though, he's somewhat right in his regard, but he's I don't know what he's what type is he playing that new. Everybody has a guy like Sammy at work. I mean, it's just that always there's a guy like that. He's smart. He knows he's a smart, and he knows he's smart. And he's like, he's like a new. Could you say like an SJW almost?
I don't know. Like, I do feel like it's kind of I do feel like it's a reflection of similar aspects,
Yeah.
because it's just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like the big thing here was like his weird, like the big thing here came
It's
off of his
Sammy
Sammy
Awards.
Awards
Yeah.
segment, in which somehow or another he wasn't even the one who won his own award for Superstar of the Year. Like, that went to Big E, and that's a weird way to kick off an Intercontinental Championship feud. But I'll take it, because that means
I liked it
we're
because
gonna
it fits
see
into because what they
Big
did
E getting
was
into a title
I
picture
give
here.
Sammy props because they did a little bit of Tom Cruise and what Tom Cruise is going on the thing. Now a
Yeah,
leak audio tape of him yelling at somebody about what happened and everything. It's a leak audio tape. So that's kind of like he's kind of like Tom Cruise and everything. So
yeah,
yeah, rebel socialist,
yeah,
a
exactly.
little bit of
So
SJW in there too. Yeah, okay. I thought I said there's a little bit of like a rebel. He's a socialist. He's a SJW. He's like the he's like a new millennial turned up to the annoying factor
yeah,
almost. And but yeah, so but they like and I like how they do that. And then they had the thing with R Truth and Big E talking in the back, and they're laughing. He's like, "I knew it was you," because he talked to Kayla. It's like Kayla, like I said, who leaked it? I just want to know. I know I've been stressful. I'm sorry to yell at you. I've been stressful. Just tell me who did it. Or like she's, I don't reveal my sources like that. He's like, now you're a journalist.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That. And then he goes, like, then Sammy, and then he does the thing with Sammy. Sammy does it with Big E, and then him and R-Truth are laughing, and then he pisses Big E off, and I love R-Truth sells that though. R-Truth is the reason why that segment works because R-Truth kind of stops, looks at him, and goes, "Okay." He backs up, like I think that he's gonna go get killed here. Let me get out the way before I get some on me. Like that. I like that. So I thought that was good. That's the only really segment I can remember. The only backstage segment that they had. No, Billy Kay and Oscar. Where Billy Kay's doing her hire me and everything, and Oscar's kind of like, no, no. So they did
right,
that.
right, 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 right.
But
So, oh yeah, I
okay,
did. Yeah, I no,
back-
I actually, I'm glad you brought it up, because that makes it a lot easier for me to transition. I
yeah,
also like that segment with Asuka and Billy Kay. I was like, because we had discussed, like, okay, so we see Billy Kay trying to. It's kind of weird, because it's almost like this
she's
weird.
jumping from show to show. Yeah,
Well, what's weird is the way that it's almost like trying to think of the best way to put this. What this current gimmick is with Billy Kay is that she looks like she's trying to make herself useful,
yes,
which is
that's the thing.
really weird if you think about it.
No,
If
I
Well, no,
mean,
well, what I
I
mean,
like
okay,
it.
here's what I mean. I find it weird specifically because of the fact that they had split up the Iconics, and they had Peyton go off, and for some reason kind of aligned, like, she's aligned herself. She's not properly a tag team with someone, but she's aligned herself with someone
Yeah,
else. And now you have Billy Kay basically just trying to find a
she's
way to make
begging,
herself.
like
It's
she's
like,
begging. She's like begging
cool. So
for a
you had
job.
no. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So you have it's almost like this weird. It's almost like art imitating life, where it's like they had nothing for her to do after splitting the Iconics, and now they're actually making a storyline out of that in a weird
What?
way.
And here's the thing: I think she's good enough that she's selling it well
Oh yeah, no,
and
that's
everything.
I was just about to say that's the
She's
bright side of that is that like
yeah,
she's making the best of that, and I can
yeah.
appreciate that.
Because she
So
kind of reminds me of some of what they used to do back in the day. Remember, Jillian Hall had the singing like that,
oh yeah
where
yeah
Jillian would pop up. Remember, Jillian would pop up and she'd start singing and everything like that, and everybody's like, "Oh, what the hell?" like that.
exactly
So
exactly
it's kind of doing like that, but I do like it because I do. It's like she's trying to like I'm trying to help out. I'm trying to do here's my thing, and she's being annoying at it, and it works well. I think I like that because yeah, she's trying to fill a spot. She's like, hey, I can do this. You can help me do this, and I can help. I can be your partner, and I can do all this. And everybody's like, okay, like because they had it with
yeah
Corbin.
exactly
She's jumping shows too. It's weird. She's jumping from Raw to SmackDown. She's showing up on both shows.
yeah it's weird and
Well,
on
didn't she
that
get traded? Didn't she get traded as well?
I thought she got drafted to a specific brand. I will
Yeah.
say because I think she might have. Okay, so here's the thing. I think she might have been drafted to SmackDown. I'll have to check later. But like the thing is,
No,
the
Peyton is on SmackDown. No,
oh Peyton's on
Royce
Smack.
because
Okay.
she beat Bailey. Because right now they're doing the thing where Peyton's got like 2 wins on pinned Bailey twice.
Oh, okay. See, okay,
Yeah,
okay. My
so
bad.
she's on Raw.
Okay, so
Okay, that
okay, so
makes more
Billy's.
sense.
I was gonna say, regardless of what brand Billy's on,
Yeah,
the fact that the fact that pay-per-views cover both brands and the fact
yeah,
that
that's why she showed up there.
the women's tag team championships can be defended on any
Both
brand.
brands. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like slight exceptions to be made, but anyways, that
No,
does
no, no.
that does
I
actually
just hope that
yeah
there's a payoff to this for her because I like her. I think she. Here's the thing. I like her. She looks great. I think she can work. I've seen her work. I think she's really good. And I just hope that there's a good payoff for her on this, and everything they'll just flounder her. There's just leave
yeah.
her just like keep
So
doing this. Yeah,
yeah, so on that note, and again, because
let's check the
the
titles.
whole
Yeah,
point of the segment was like she was trying to offer her services as Asuka's tag team partner, but Asuka told her that the position had been filled. So,
yes.
with that in mind, we go on to the next match, which is the women's championship or the women's tag team championship match
Hmm.
with the champs Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against Asuka and a mystery opponent who was supposed to be Lana, but because Lana got basically beat up on Raw, they said,
Uh-huh.
well, she's gonna have to pick somebody else out. So
And
the
Oscar
announcement was,
picks
yeah, Asuka picked Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte, which we all knew was going to happen, but we were trying to think maybe it'd be something different. No, we knew it was Charlotte.
Practically hoping for something other than the obvious, I feel.
Yeah, it was the obvious that it was her coming back, and
So,
but no, I mean, here's the thing about that too. Like I said, it still didn't take away. It was a good match.
yeah.
Charlotte is still Charlotte. She can go with anybody. Pound for pound, she might be one of the best female right up there. It's her and Oscar are up there as pound for pound two of the best female workers right now in the E. You can put them up there and everything. And it was a good match. I thought it was well done. And what you have now is you have a lot of things that come out of this. One, you really do need Lana to now. I think they need to pull the trigger and have Lana really stand up to Nia Jax now and
Yes.
everything.
I think that
And
like yeah, because I think the like now that they're not doing like now that Nia and Shayna are not the
champion.
champions, they
Mhm.
don't really have a reason to keep teaming up. They can
Yeah,
kind of go and off and do their own things in
you
singles.
can have Shayla go like this. This is your fault. If you
Yeah.
had just Lana alone, we probably could have won this match, beat her up, win the match, and be done. So
Hmm.
if I was Shayla, I would have her do that. I would Shayla go, "This is your fault.
Right.
Injuring Lana, call Oscar to go get Charlotte. Because of that, we lost the belts. If you had left Lana alone, we could have easily have won that match and we'd been fine and Charlotte wouldn't have been in there. That's what Shayla should do and walk away from her. And then you should have Lana smack Nia in the back, maybe a weapon or something.
Right.
They
Right.
need Lana to snap. I really to pay this off. You need Lana to snap to say she's been pushed beyond you know what is rational anymore
Right.
and stand up for herself and really bring the hurt to Nia now to establish herself and people to get behind her. Because like I said, you established the baseline. She's been beat the hell up for what, 10 weeks now?
Yeah,
2 months,
something like that. It's just
almost
been.
3 months.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, and this is like I know this is something Chris was talking about before as well, but I kind of feel like reiterating. Like, there's something about the fact that the whole like babyface run consists of Lana being beaten up, and we're supposed to somehow like it's this
And
weird
back her.
sympathy. It's this weird
Yeah.
sympathy thing.
And it's working. I mean, it is working.
Like it's
But you have to pull the
well, yeah.
trigger.
I mean that's the thing. Like it's starting to work now, purely
Yeah.
because like she's stood up for herself, and she's like, you know, like they've done some things now where it's clear that she's starting to turn things around. But now you have this situation where, well, I guess it's still a matter of seeing how it plays out, because now you have a situation where Lana's been injured, so obviously she couldn't be here tonight, for
And
example,
obviously,
and now
and here's the
they
thing.
have to kind of go from there.
No, here's what they do. Lana's pissed now. She doesn't have the title.
Right,
You took my title shot.
right. I can see
I
that.
had a
Yeah.
shot at the title. You injured me. I couldn't. Now my partner is champion with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, because of you. Boop boop attack. Like and people are gonna be like, yeah, that's right. But like I said, other than the match is fine. Now here's this. Charlotte is a Grand Slam champion now.
Hmm.
She's held every women's championship you could have in the WWE. Asuka hold this women's SmackDown championship?
I believe
No.
so.
And she has?
I think
I have to look that up. I
I'll
have to
look it
look
up
that
real
up.
quick.
Yeah, look that up because I don't know Charlotte because I know Asuka's been the Raw Women's Champion. She's been NXT champion. Now she's the Tag Team Champions. If she held that SmackDown champion, she's a Grand Slam champion now.
Yeah, let me check, because the reason I'm not sure is because I remember when Asuka was
On
like
SmackDown, but I'm
Asuka
sure.
was on SmackDown challenging
Yeah, she lost to
Charlotte at
Charlotte.
one point,
No,
because
she's never
because
won it.
well, no, see, that's the thing. Like, she had challenged Charlotte Flair for it at one point,
Yeah,
and
that was the broken.
yeah. So just hang on a second. I'm pulling it up now. All right.
But yeah, Charlotte's now a Grand Slam champion.
Okay, yeah,
She's held
Asuka. Okay, yeah, Asuka. Okay, so yeah, Asuka did win the. Asuka won the SmackDown champ. She
She
won.
does her.
She won it 2 years ago at
Okay.
TLC in a triple threat match, which
Yeah, she beat
had Charlotte
Becky
Flair.
Lynch.
Let me.
She beat Becky
Oh,
Lynch.
yeah, she beat Becky Lynch in a match that
In a
also
triple
had
threat
Charlotte Flair.
match.
So
Yeah.
there's some
So
history there actually as of tonight.
Asuka's now a Grand Slam champion too. She's held every women's belt in the WWE.
Yep.
So now here's this. Here's this. She's a double champion again. She has the women's tag team champion and the Raw title. Okay, I just thought about that. So she's holding two belts. She's Asuka two belts now.
Yep.
And then you're gonna have probably Charlotte go, "I want the belt you have." I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah.
So it's it's crazy. Other than that, but like I said, other than that, it's a good match. I thought it was a good match and everything. But the implications are, I know, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna have Baylor might challenge Asuka. They might have a rematch, and if they do have a rematch, what the E likes to do, Lana should come out and attack Nia. I'm telling you, she needs to do that now. I think we need to push that now. Going into the Rumble, push the Lana needs to have that match with Nia Jax and her beating Nia Jax to stand up for herself, and we can move on from there. Okay. I think we talked enough of that.
Oh
What's
no,
the
that's fine.
next
Yeah, no,
match?
I mean that's the thing. Like that, I feel like that's the reason. Like I feel like that's the reason why a lot of people were assuming and thinking, oh yeah, no, Charlotte Flair is gonna be the one to come in this, because
Yeah,
there's gonna be a feud now based on that between
yeah. And
Charlotte and Asuka.
I thought it was. I didn't think the Nia and Shea were gonna lose the title though. I thought it was just they win, but like DQ or
No,
something.
right.
So that's
Yeah, I
surprising.
know.
That's the
I
one surprising.
mean, well, see, because I think we might have touched on it on Thursday. I think Chris especially, but also I mean just the fact that like I feel like you can get a slightly better version of the champions having a feud against each other with these
Yeah,
two
with Oscar and Charlotte.
than
Yeah,
with Nia and Shane. Like, cause Nia and Shane, I don't know,
it
Nia and
was
Shayna were
fine, but
fine, but
yeah, it just didn't work like that. I mean, I know they were hating each other and they had the Raw Underground thing and all
yeah,
that, but that just didn't work. This works. There's history
exactly,
here. There's these
exactly.
Oscar. Remember, Charlotte broke Oscar's streak.
Mhm,
Charlotte beat Oscar at
mhm,
WrestleMania. These two have been going at it, pretty much since they've come into the main roster and everything. They've been at each other, like that. They've been friends. They've been
mhm.
enemies. They have a much better love-hate relationship compared to Nia and Shayla. You can do champions, they're champions and they're not really they like Oscar. I'm glad you helped me, but I kind of don't trust you because you're Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's like, and Charlotte's like, well, the reason why I joined with you because it was a title match and I wanted the title. So like that, I didn't really, I didn't really go because I like you. I just go because it was a title match and
Yeah.
I wanted to win another title. So Charlotte could say that, and I never won the women's title yet. Now I
Mhm.
have. So that's why Charlotte can say that's the only reason why I agreed to this because it was a title match. If it wasn't the title, I would have left you in the dust like that. So
Yeah. So
we get
yeah.
that.
So yeah.
You
So
have
that it was yeah it was a very good match, and like I'm kind of like like again I'm glad to see that that's what happened, because now we have
yeah.
a situation where we have we have tag team champions that can also have some
And yeah, we have some
stuff there.
feuding, and we have Shayla
Now
and Lana feuding, and then Shayla can finally go back to singles. And also, what we're missing? And we're missing, what about Jessamine Duke and Shafir? We're missing those two. That's her two running buddies. They've been out for a while. I haven't seen them
yeah, I
since
mean
Raw Underground.
it's
So
it's kind of funny you bring it like yeah because they haven't even I can't yeah it's been a while.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know what
Um.
happened. I think
So
is one of
okay.
them.
So
I know Shafir is married to Roger. Well,
yeah, I don't
let's
know.
talk
So
about
that's okay.
it.
So we're gonna transition a little bit. I did
Mm-hmm.
um, I did pull up some info so that way I could keep better track of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
So in a quick backstage segment before uh the Universal title match, we did have the segment with Big E and R-Truth having a laugh about
yeah.
something. Sammy accuses Big E of leaking that audio, and this whole thing, and um, Big E, kind of confronts
Sammy
Sammy
pretty
about
much
it.
pissing Biggie.
Um, Literal, and I'm just gonna say it now because the segment happens, or the announcement comes later. But I'm just gonna say it now. Yes, they are gonna have a match on Friday on
yeah.
Christmas Day for the Intercontinental Championship. So that'll be interesting. That'll give me a that will give me a
I
reason to watch
really
SmackDown
think
on Christmas night.
that's true.
It's
That's the
not
thing. Like
because it's not
I'll
like
probably
I've got
watch Wonder
yeah
Woman
because it's not like
84.
I've got a Doctor Who special to watch this year.
Not, but I'll Wonder Woman 84. That's on HBO
No,
Max.
right. Um,
I'll
yeah,
watch that, but
but yeah,
I'll watch the SmackDown
no,
afterwards though. So,
exactly. So, anyways,
uh,
so on
but
that case,
yeah, we could talk
next,
about. Well, let's do this before, and
uh huh.
let's real quick because I know we'll talk about it later. But I think Biggie wins that. I really do. I really think that Biggie wins that. They're
I
going to do a
I could see
shocking
that.
because
Yeah,
it's Christmas. I see Biggie winning that. But okay, let's go on
it
to
would be
the
a nice
Universal
way to
title.
kind of wrap up the year, like
Yeah, I
like as
think they're
far as
doing
like
it going.
proper shows and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, with that in mind, we go to the semi-main event, which
Hmm.
I've got a thing or two to say about that personally.
Okay. Yeah.
But
What you guys say?
so we've got our semi-main event for the Universal Championship. It's the other TLC match of the night. Which, by the way,
Uh
did you
huh.
notice that for once they didn't do that weird thing where they'll they have at least one TLC match, in this case two, but like in past years they've also had, oh, here's a ladder match, here's a tables
Yeah.
match.
Here's the table match. Here's the. Yeah.
They
I
didn't,
like it.
yeah,
Actually, it's really good
like the emphasis
because
as far as
this is special.
stipulations go, the emphasis was on the two main title matches, and then the main event. Again, I'll get into that in just a
That's
second here. Um,
no, but it watered down because yeah, in years past, you're right. It's been like they had the TLC match, then they'll have there's like a table
yeah,
match, then there's like a chairs match,
exactly.
and there's like a ladder match, and then another TLC match or something. You're
Yeah.
like,
Um, So yeah, we have our Universal Championship match, and I do okay. So I will just say this now. It's kind of weird that we still have gimmick like stipulation names for pay-per-views when those particular stipulation matches aren't even the main event. I feel like it was a rare occasion, but I kind of feel like if we're gonna go this direction, we probably should just maybe not do pay-per-views with the stipulation names if we're not gonna have those matches be the main event. That's my
Well,
personal opinion.
no, I understand where you're coming from with that. And I think this one is a special occasion because I think they wanted to, as we get to the main event and everything,
Oh yeah,
and
no,
with or
yeah,
thing.
there were
And
reasons,
I
and we'll
think
get
they
into that
wanted
in a
to.
minute.
I think the only reason why is because they wanted to end it with what we're going to talk about
Yeah,
later. But
it just felt weird. It was really jarring to me
oh
that
yeah, yeah. Normally you're correct. Normally they do that. Normally this match would normally be the last
yeah.
match
So
for the
I
main
just
event.
wanted to get that off my chest because I think that's the only gripe I had about this match.
Now
Because
this match itself,
the match
and then
itself,
Chris, if we talk to Chris on
hmm
Discord, if Chris was here, he will say it. He felt this is match of the night, and this might be the match of the night. I
I'm
thought
inclined to
these two
agree. To be honest,
just,
I think we're all on the same page with that.
these just fought. I mean, these two beat the living heck out of each other. I loved, the story that they told in his, and it's just that Owens is just pretty much was just like a movie monster. He just would not
hmm
die. He hit him with like
hmm
everything, and he kept coming and everything. And I honest with you, we expected, like since we predicted, we said Roman's going to win this because honestly, Roman's been such a great heel so well that we felt that it's too early in the heel run. But I believe there was a couple of seconds, a minute or two that you believe maybe they're going to give it to
Exactly.
Owens. Maybe Owens is going to take it, and that's what I like, and I like that belief that maybe I'm wrong here and Owens is going to win
Yeah.
this like that. And I thought these two, they beat the living heck out of each other and some great spots. Again, another one that's not a lot, didn't have to do any of the dives and everything like that, but you still had chair shots. You still had, you still had big hits with the ladders, going through ladders. Michael Cole, the table is not a ladder, is not named a table, and he said it twice.
Yeah, it happens. Um,
I
I
know. I'm not
oh
gonna.
yeah, no, it's fine.
I
But yeah, I will say like
even he messed up, and he did it again. And he knew it, and you could tell he was trying to keep from busting and laughing because he knew he screwed up twice.
yeah,
And I'll give him a pass on that one. I was just excited. It was brutal. It was a brutal shot because the ladder just fold up like a table though. So
yeah.
I
So that
understand.
okay. So here's a especially when they start. That's okay. So that's part of the thing. Sometimes they'll start to when they start using ladders like tables and stuff. Then maybe I can see where the confusion comes from.
Well, oh no, I think he meant to say ladder, and he just
Yeah,
said table, and
but
just came
anyways,
out.
co-
And he did it
yeah.
again. He was just like, "Why am I?" And he just keep going.
um,
He's professional. Keep going.
Another thing. So a couple things about this match in particular. One, I think that so so the opening match of the night helped remind people what a ladder what a match involving a ladder could be that doesn't involve a lot of flips. Same was
Yeah,
true, but I feel like even more so because of
yeah.
I feel like especially I feel like there was just more of a story behind this match than
There was.
the opening match. Like because on let's be the feud between Drew and AJ was it's been all right. I feel like it could if they're gonna continue it, it'll kick up after this. But
Yeah,
this one started off really good from the jump, I would say.
yeah,
And to
yeah.
Kaiser's
This is
point,
personal.
this had
It felt
elements
like it got personal.
of ROH Kevin Steen matches, which is true. Like
Yes, that's what it.
I
That's what it
feel
reminded.
like
Oh, versus like I said, tag.
Kevin Owens in a match involving a
Yeah,
ladder, you're bound to actually have some really good brawls. You're bound to have some really good
yeah,
storytelling, and
yeah,
honestly, and the other big thing about this match is that it made me realize between this and the build towards it, and especially the really good video package that they showed a couple times in the night, it made me realize like Kevin Owens is like, at least right now, probably the perfect person to have going up against Roman Reigns. Like
Yes.
after the feud with Jey Uso came to an end, and Jey Uso has kind of resigned himself to being a part of the family and being, as they kind of
Yeah.
put it, subservient to
He's a henchman.
to
He's a
to
henchman.
Roman.
He's a
You
minion.
have
He's a
Kevin
minion.
Owens, who has prided himself on being a prize fighter who fights for his family in a
Yeah.
different way. And they've really
Yeah.
pushed that throughout this build, and I think they really did a good job like building that up throughout the match as well. To the point where I'm really hoping that we are gonna keep seeing this going into the Royal Rumble. Like I feel like this is the feud that
I
needs to
do too.
keep happening.
I can see another one, and I can see maybe a cage
I
match.
think so as well.
I can see a cage match here because a cage match would be a perfect evolution of this. Because I'm sorry, Owens could say, "I won this match if it wasn't for Jey
Mm-hmm.
Uso. If you didn't have for Jey Uso,
Exactly.
if you didn't have him come and bother me, I take that belt and I win. Because you have him, because you can't win because you have
Mm-hmm.
him like that, and then you don't have the guts to fight me in the cage where he's not there.
Yeah.
That and that's a natural evolution of that. And like I said, this was fantastic from the jump. You had you had Owens establish that he's the prize fighter. He's just a guy that you're gonna have to. He's like you're gonna have to kill me, and you literally had to put him to sleep just to put him
Yep.
out like that. So it doesn't hurt. And here's the thing, you're right. He's the perfect one to establish Roman as this asshole, you know, bastard, of a guy
Yeah.
who's a hypocrite in what he says, and who uses any means to get his thing like that. Who, yeah, he won and everything, but you want to you hate you hate him for what he's doing or what he
Yeah.
stands for and everything like that. And you can cheer for Owens for what he stands for because he said, "I fight for my family because that's the right thing to do." You're a hypocrite. You talk about this is for your family and everything, but you act the way you act.
Yep.
And it like it's a different philosophy. There are two sides of almost the same coin, just getting it from a different way. And it works, and this match worked like that, where it was like I said, he's fighting on his own. He doesn't have anybody to help him. You have Uso coming out here and helping you.
Right.
And if you had his brother would have came out and helped too, but
Yeah.
which we thought was going to happen and everything for that. So yes, this is perfect to again, and it builds into Roman is a guy you want to see lose now, and you hate to say it, but you're like, damn, he's too damn good, and we want him to
Yeah.
lose, but he's still able to hold it off, and that makes for a great heel
Yeah.
champion. And it makes for a great rivalry and a great foil
E-
for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah,
Exactly. Like honestly, I think like when Roman first came back as a heel, I think we were all very very excited that Roman was
yeah,
doing something new, to the point where as he was
yes,
doing this heel turn and he's giving us reasons to boo him as a heel. And he's doing a pretty good job, but it's also like
oh
because
yes,
of the fact that we have so much respect for what he's actually doing, that it's almost hard to like really dislike him. And I think, as you kind of pointed out, like this
hmm
feud, now we're kind of turning that family part of the feud, like I'm sorry, the family part of like his current like gimmick of his like attitude,
yeah,
it's being turned on its head a little bit here because now
yeah, because
you have a really good, like you said, a really good foil in Kevin Owens, who also fights for his family but will not sacrifice his family to like get what he like wants
yeah,
and stuff. So it's like
and Roman's making it personal.
exactly,
He's making it personal to him. He's like, oh, you disgrace to your family
exactly,
like this, and you're like, that's personal now. You're going into that aspect of you're bringing his son into this and everything,
exactly,
and and that makes you want to hate him for it because you're like, why are you talking like that? Why are you going after this man's family and everything like that way? Because and here's the thing, what Owens is saying is not false.
right,
and because Owens is saying you're a hypocrite. You're saying this is for tough love and everything. But you're using your brother, your cousin, as using him to fight your battles, and then you come in and do that. So yeah, so like I said, it's now to that point where you're beginning to hate Roman now. You respect his for the heel turn, but you're beginning to say, "Hey, I want this guy to lose now because I'm getting sick of hearing that and everything." And that's how you're supposed to do a heel and, and a face like that, and that's how you're supposed to respect the face and everything like that. And you respect the heel, but you hate him and you want to see him to lose
Right.
and everything. And that's what I always have. I finally thank you for 4 years. Roman was a natural heel.
Mhm.
He's so good at this. He's so well. He has done a great job because he's natural. He comes off, and he's always had that natural badass look and feel to him. And he just felt out of place to see him as the face like that. Now, again, I know you're fighting Brock Lesnar. Everybody looks like a face compared to Brock Lesnar. That's just, you know, what it is. But you can see him as the face when they were doing him as a face. He was never comfortable like that.
Yeah.
Now he seems
Mhm.
comfortable. Now
Mhm.
he seems like this is a natural fit for him because he feel comfortable, and it helps that you have Paul Heyman to be your
Mhm.
voice. That Paul Heyman as your mouthpiece is fantastic, like that. So that works too because Heyman does a great job of getting you over. And that's why you think Brock Lesnar had Paul Heyman.
Right.
So
Right.
it works. And Heyman right now may be one of the best, manager talkers in the business. So that helps too. And you can always use Heyman. Like I said, here's the thing: Heyman's a good escape hatch. Maybe down the line, a year or two down the line, you pull the trigger and you say it's because Heyman was in my ear.
Right.
You can always use Heyman as a
Mhm.
scapegoat to turn him back face. Because they did that with
Yeah.
Brock. I can see it coming. Heyman turning on Roman and everything.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I think if there comes a time when Brock ends up returning to the WWE again, cuz I don't think, as far as I know, his contract is either coming up or it's
oh, it's
already
up.
up. And as far as we know,
It's coming.
he's
I think it's
not
been up.
as far as we know, he may or may not actually be seeking any further
He's
business
not.
with WWE.
I don't think he's. Well. Here's the thing. It's because I think also with the pandemic and everything like that too. He's probably not. I don't need to do that.
Right. And that's
I don't need to
fair.
travel.
That's fair. That's fine.
And,
And I think for some
and
fans,
he's probably.
especially, the, it's
It's good.
good to
I think
not
it's good for
even
him.
worry about him popping up anytime soon.
Because here's what
Hmm.
happens. Give it another year. He suddenly pops up. The monster is back. The crowd will pop if the crowd's there. We find the crowd comes
Hmm.
back and everything. And then you do the one thing where y'all know who's champion, maybe Drew or maybe it's Roman and everything, or like that in a year or something like that. And then suddenly you hear that music, and he comes walking out. The crowd would explode. People go crap your pants. He's back. It'll be a big explosion and everything like that. But like I said, right now, I think he's fine. He's like, I don't live on my farm. I'll do my thing. And maybe when this everything comes back, he doesn't need to do that right now. So and it's good. It's a good thing because out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
We can't miss you unless you're gone
exactly. Yeah.
like
So
that.
if it's funny because part of me is already trying to fantasy book how that looks like.
There
See,
you go.
you see Brock finally come back, and Paul basically kind of turns on Roman because, oh, Brock's back. That's who I advocate for. But
My
there's that
meal
whole
ticket's
thing.
back. Yeah,
But for now,
yeah, he's my app.
for now,
Yeah, he's back. So
Paul with Roman has been great, and Roman's really shined as a
so
heel. And like I said, and like we've both said now, Kevin is fine. I think Kevin's finally finding his footing
hey,
in this kind of role. Like
he's
now
finding
he's
his
got,
yeah, he's finding his footing
yeah,
again. Yeah, he's finding his footing again. Yeah, he seemed to be lost for the last year
yeah,
or so, almost 2 years. He seemed to be like, and he had this thing with Shane McMahon and all that, and then he's finally finding his footing again. Because here's the thing: I always liked Kevin Owens when he was Kevin Steen. I always liked that he could do a promo. He came off. He comes off just real in it, and he's
Mm-hmm.
good at that. And it's just for a long time he just felt like he's just been floating in the
Yeah.
wind and everything. And now he's got his footing again, and now he's got that steam behind him. And now he's got a foil. He's got someone he can play off.
Exactly.
And I hope we can keep this momentum going because I want to see. This is the guy I like. I like this guy. I like this type of. I like this Kevin Owens, and I want to see more of this Kevin Owens and everything like that. And I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, and here's the thing: is Roman's established himself as that. You know what? You can make an instant star if you bring someone in and have him beat Roman.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can do an instant star like that real quick. Roman's at the point now is whoever does finally beat him is going to be an instant
Mm-hmm.
star, and that's like that. Hoping we can get the Big E. Maybe down the line it's Big E.
Yeah.
Finally get that Big E, that Big E push. And I think they're trying to build that. They're doing it with Sammy, but I think they're trying to build to Big E finally maybe being that guy. Because they did the one thing, and before we go to the next one, I just want to, last thing I want to say is they did a little, talking smack where they had Paul Heyman do a little, promo. He's talking to Big E, and he does this great promo that Big E, got Big E to stop and think, and he goes, he kind of sings the praises of Big E, but he goes, you look at Roman Reigns, have you noticed that no one says anything about the Shield?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I think you are going to be point where you're going to hit the point where the new day is going to be but a footnote in what you are going to accomplish and everything. And nobody's going to say anything about the new day. They're all going to talk about Big E. And he said this, and he got Big E thinking, And I was like, and there you go. There's the seeds for that. And I love that. I was like, okay, now we can see Big E finally. And you can see that too. Like we talked about the promo before. He turned that switch on. It got serious. You were like, oh shit. You gonna rip him in half right now.
Yeah.
Big E's a scary
Exactly.
guy when he's serious.
Yeah. So
And,
yeah.
and yeah.
So it'll be
And
interesting to see, and I think so. For example, the fact that we've now seen that Big E is like getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, I think that's going to be the beginning
yeah.
for Big E's trajectory,
Hopefully
and hopefully
hopefully
we'll see something with
hopefully
that
maybe
with
yeah.
Roman Reigns
Maybe
pretty
a
soon.
Rumble.
Yeah.
Maybe like I said, that's why I was saying he was going to win, but hopefully maybe it's a Royal Rumble. Maybe he wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Roman.
Yeah. Only
He
only
could go
only
that
time
route.
will tell. But
Only time.
with that,
Okay, now
yeah.
let's get to
Let's.
the main event.
Oh gosh. I just need a moment. Well, like
Yeah,
let me just explain why I am the way I am about this right now. Because first of all, when I realized that the TLC match wasn't the main event, my first thought was, okay, so Fiend versus Orton is either going to be cinematic or it's just because of the nature of the match. Because again, remember, as of Thursday, we still weren't even entirely sure what the match was supposed to be.
yeah. I thought it
Like
was
we
a
knew
cinematic match.
like we knew what the stipulation was announced as. We did not know that they were actually going to go with the quote unquote like Inferno match as far as like the
It's an
stiff.
Inferno match. This
Like,
is basically Kane's old match on steroids.
and I was like, okay, like cuz there's a
Yeah.
lot to process with this match
Yes, it was.
because
And here's the thing, and I will say this: interesting starting of the
mhm,
match. Interesting starting of the match. Because you don't see anything
right.
yet. It's like a regular match. It's a
Mhm.
regular match. There's no ref in the ring or anything. That's the one thing I didn't notice. There's no
Mhm.
ref in the ring. I didn't notice that until match was over. I noticed there's just no
Right,
ref
there
here.
was no like standard setup to this. Now I
Yeah,
think it yeah,
and then
but
I did notice the plexiglass stuff. I saw the plexiglass stuff around
mhm.
the ring, and I was like, that wasn't there
Mhm.
before and everything. Or was it always there? No, it wasn't
Not that
there.
I know of, no.
It was basically a barricade, and they closed it around the ramp. When you walk into the ramp,
Mhm.
a door closes. It closed like a door, like a
Yeah.
plexiglass door, and everything. And I was like, okay, all right. And so I'm thinking, and my thought of this is, okay, here's what's going to happen. I didn't think about the plexiglass. I said, here's what's going to happen. They start on the ring. They fight, 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 fight. They fight to the back. Pre-cut tape cuts the cinematic.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I was thinking too. It's like when they had the when they cut back to ringside, I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's not going to be fully cinematic. They're not going to be at like a House
Yeah,
of Horrors type weirdness again.
Yeah,
It's gonna at least be in the ring, and it's like okay,
yeah,
maybe it'll end up cinematic, and that's why. And again,
yeah,
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the TLC
yeah.
match wasn't the main event. But I'm like, okay, so because
So
it's an Inferno match, and they're probably gonna do something to end the night so that it's not like your standard wrestling clothes, you know?
there you go. So we're thinking, and then they have their opening match, and they have their opening up, and you open up with Fiend basically taking the hits that Orton gives him, and then gets pissed off and starts going at him, and then they're doing the thing, and then suddenly the Fiend just pulls his inner cane, roar, boom, the freaking place just
I was
explodes.
like, oh,
I mean, the ring.
there's
I
the
was like,
fire. There's what we're looking for.
yeah,
There's our
that's what we're looking for.
Inferno.
And it was such. I will admit this. This was the coolest. This a cool visual I've ever. One of the coolest
Oh yeah,
visuals I've
I
seen in
think
a long time.
honestly, I think as far as aesthetics go, I think this is probably the best looking of Inferno matches I've ever seen.
I've ever seen. Yeah, and I've seen them. I mean, I was there for the
Right,
first one, for the
it's
first
like the original Inferno matches
MCW
were literally to just kind of put the thing around the ring apron basically, or
around the ring apron,
near
and
the
then
ring basically.
near the ring, and then you get the
Mhm.
ropes, and then you have the ropes, and then you're in the ring. You stay in the ring, and basically you work
Mhm.
toward it like
Mhm.
that. So this one, that thing just explodes.
Yeah,
Oof.
and as you
Fire
kind of
and
pointed out,
fire coils around the
exactly.
fire around the
Mhm.
whole thing.
Mhm.
Okay, fire coils around the plastic
Mhm.
banners, and it keeps lighting up like snakes. It looks like coils of
Yep.
snakes
And
around the
I
fire.
thought that
And
I liked these sort of callback of sorts to like your standard Inferno match as far as like you notice like during the big moves and stuff the flames go up, you know.
yeah,
Like that was a neat little
yeah,
callback of sorts.
that was
Like
a nice
okay,
touch,
good.
and it was timed, and they were timed
Mhm.
perfectly
Mhm.
here. These were timed. Yeah, it's a callback to. Like I said, it's like Kane's match 2.0. It's on
Mhm.
steroids. Every time they take a big bump, baboosh, baboosh, baboosh. I was like, damn, like this works and everything. And I thought it was well done. It was well done. And then you have the chair. He brings out the chair. He lights the chair. He puts Orton in the chair. He lights the trail. He almost tries to burn him. The chair. Orton's like, holy crap. Jumps out the last second and everything. And it's just totally, it was totally bonkers. It was just like, this is crazy. And they're outside fighting. And again, I noticed something too. And I didn't think about it. There's no announcers on ringside.
Right.
They weren't there. And I thought to myself that, and I didn't think about it until I started seeing them fight outside. It's like the announcers
Yeah.
aren't there. No. And then Kais pointed this out on Discord. It was weird. You could tell almost. It's almost as they did a flip the switch when they did that, or they did a quick
Mhm.
edit because the boards. I don't know. It's weird. It was like the boards changed. I mean, the people in the background. If you look at the people in the background, it wasn't as animated. People in the background weren't as animated as they were
Right.
before. Kais pointed that out.
It's
So
almost like they either pre-taped the whole thing
still
or
pictures.
they did something to like in order to keep everyone keep everyone and all the equipment safe. It's almost like it's weird how it got presented in some ways. The
Yeah,
rest
that's what it felt
Yeah,
weird.
okay,
It's
there we
like
go. Kind of like
pre-tape.
it almost seems like they recycled fan streams, and it's just like
Yes,
I could kind of see that as well. And I
I
think
can
the
try to see
lack of
it too.
announcers made me realize, okay, I think something's happening. Something's happened in this match that they've done it completely different from the rest of the thing. And I'm like,
Yeah,
at that point, I was like, okay, this is why. I'm like, yeah. At this point, I was like, okay, this is why this is the main event because they needed to keep this separate from everything else before it.
yeah. Like you said, and like you said, they recycled. They're recycling the feeds because the people weren't as animated in the feeds like you would
Yeah.
normally
Now,
see.
Now
People are
Kai's
usually
something
moving.
I do want to bring up from Kai's in the chat. What was even weirder was that they had fans doing thumbs down for Fiend's attack as if Fiend was the heel. Now that speaks to a concern that I had about this feud because it's still very weird. Like it's kind of weird to me that they would present Fiend as a face, except that he's going up against Randy Orton. But that also makes me.
And Randy Orton's the ultimate.
But it's almost like, to be really honest, like the whole thing about this feud made no sense to me the whole time.
It's true.
because it's
This whole thing is kind
like
of
they had just
it's
built like they've built up Fiend so much as they have. They had him doing these various things, and they recently brought on like Alexa Bliss as like you know,
yeah. The Joker, and Harley Quinn. The essentially Joker and Harley
and
Quinn,
so
and
it
which is people love the Joker because Joker and Harley are a match couple. But I found it was the weirdest thing was they have him going after Orton, and the Orton feud really starts because he kind of messes with Alexa.
yeah,
You know,
and but it's like now and so now it's like okay, like it doesn't really make as much sense for me to see the Fiend as the face here. But it also doesn't make sense for me to see Orton as the face because he literally just had a feud with Drew McIntyre
he
where he was
literally
clearly the feud in that. It's like
the
so the whole
heel,
thing
where he
so the whole
attacked him.
thing doesn't make sense.
So that's the one thing about it. Now it probably would have made more sense if they had kept uh well, I'll show you my face. Yeah, right. Showing my face to commit evil. Maybe if they had kept Alexa in this a little bit more. I know they chose this time. She's on
hmm
vacation.
I've
They teach the time she wanted to take her vacation and everything like that. If they had kept Alexa in as more as the Orton is messing with her, Orton is terrorizing her or trying to use her as a way to get to him. Then you come off as the Fiend is defending someone that he cares
yeah
about, and then the Fiend comes off as face
yeah
that way. But it loses its touch when she's not there.
yeah I think the reason that it actually so the more I think about it, the thing about Fiend becoming face through this feud that makes sense is the callbacks because they made callbacks to when Orton destroyed the Wyatt compound and
The
stuff.
Wyatt compound,
And so like
burn the spirit of
yes,
Sister
he's clearly the
Abigail.
heel at this point because of the stuff that he did in the past. They're not trying to present it as like he did this but now like he's a good guy for that or something. No, he's clearly the
No,
heel
it's
because of
it's
what he did
it's
to Bray Wyatt back then.
yeah,
And so
yeah. It's the Fiend is kind
that
of like judgment, like Bray Wyatt's judgment and everything like that, or his retribution come to
yeah,
life. This is my anger and my
yeah.
hatred toward what you did
So yeah, so
manifest as the
with
Fiend.
all that kind of said about like the feud itself and the fact and the presentation, again, the match itself was really good.
Fine,
Honestly, I liked
very
it.
good.
Like this was easily the best Inferno match that I've personally seen.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Which is
yeah.
kind of
In terms
well,
of
it's kind
Inferno
of funny for me to say because I've only actually seen like I didn't see
I've
like the
seen them
initial ones.
with
Like I saw
paint.
the honestly the first Inferno match that I actually watched like when it happened on TV was literally Kane versus MVP on like an episode of Smackdown.
Okay,
That was my first like proper Inferno
yeah.
match experience.
I saw the original Kane versus
So I'm
Undertaker, the
like,
first
so we
ever.
went
I watched.
and and
Yeah,
again like Bray Wyatt versus Kane, like yeah, Bray Wyatt versus Kane was that Ring of Fire match where like it wasn't really an Inferno match, but they had the fire out there.
yeah,
That's why I brought
yeah.
that up on Thursday when we were discussing what this match was even supposed to be. But this was clearly an
And
Inferno
then
match, which we saw Randy
this,
Orton win because he managed to set the Fiend on fire. And then
yeah,
we get into
and like I said, that's what this goes
the
from.
weirdness that was the post
Yeah,
match.
this goes from a okay match to a bonkers freaking ending match because I now here's the thing on I assume that Orton's losing this match. This is the Fiend's
hmm
match. Orton's the heel, Fiend's the face. He burns Orton. His match is over. I did not expect what happened. And essentially, he puts him in the Orton goes for the RKO, mandible claw. He's pushing him with the claw toward the fire. Orton does that last second twist turn, backs Fiend in at the last second.
Yeah.
Fiend's jacket. Orton gets out of Fiend, drops the hold. Orton jumps into the ring real quick. Fiend is literally pissed off now because he's on fire. It's like literally the Fiend's just like, I'm on fire. I'm going to charge you, a flaming man on
Yep.
fire. And then Orton sees him coming, hits the RKO. Okay, that makes sense. The guy's coming at you. Well, it doesn't. Mo, it doesn't make sense. You got to hit the RKO. It makes sense you jump out the ring if the guy's coming at you on fire. But but he hits the RKO and everything like that. So the Fiend's out. And then he literally, and then he gets the gasoline, he pours the gas, he comes in and kicks the Fiend, like, is he out? Is he actually out?
Right.
Kicks him a little bit, flips him over. And then he actually jumps out the ring, gets the gasoline, pours it all over him, gets the matches, lights the match, watches the match burn a little bit, then jumps it on the body and lights the Fiend on fire.
Yeah, and as I'm watching this happen, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? How did we get here? Like, it was weird enough
Yeah,
for this particular feud to culminate in a like the fact that it was an Inferno match booked for a pay per view called TLC for the end of the
yeah.
year, and this is how it
Yeah, I
ends.
mean, it would have been better on. It would have been better if this was. Remember, we used to have Judgment Day. That would have fit
Well,
better
yeah,
with
but I
this.
mean,
Remember the paper Judgment fit better, but here's the thing about that, and like I said, it's bonkers ending. I mean, I never in my life we see someone put on fire.
not to
I
that
mean, I've seen them on
extent.
fire,
Not
but
to that
well,
extent.
not
That's
to
the
this
key.
extent. Now, we know, as we said before, crispy part. We know, as we said before, that's a dummy
Mhm.
because here's the problem I have with it. It took too
Yeah.
long. I know they were selling. I know they were selling. The dramatic point. Oh man, he's just a man. He's down. And he's got gasoline. He pours it
Mhm.
on him, and he's got the match gonna light a
Mhm.
fire. But you do it fast. You do it quickly. You don't take the time you did because what you do is by you taking that time, or maybe it's the camera angle, the cuts of the camera. Cut to Orton then. Keep it on
Yeah.
Orton then. A lot. Don't show if you want to do this. Keep the cut on Orton does the thing where kicks him over. Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
Cut to Orton. Cut to Orton, go and get the gasoline. Keep it on Orton. Keep it on Orton. Then quick cut to Orton pouring the gasoline
Mhm.
on the thing. Cut
Mhm.
back to Orton. Go back out. Get the matches. Cut to Orton. Keep it on Orton. We don't need to see him anymore. Cut to Orton. Strike the match and start
Right.
going. Drops it. And then cut to the Fiend on
Mhm.
fire. So we don't. So we don't have to. Because by the time we were able to look at it and you stop and you look and you see that's not him. There's no
Right.
breathing. He's not breathing. There's no chest rising. I saw it. I watched it. His chest is
Mhm.
not rising. It's just
Now,
something the dummy laying there.
okay. Now the thing is, it's funny in a way, just because to me, I'm just like the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, at what point did they need to like how much of this did we actually need to see? That's probably the other thing that I felt like.
That's the thing. That's why I said you didn't need to see. You didn't need to see the Fiend laying there because they went to a couple of shots where it shows him laying prone. He's like his arms out. He's laying prone. And he cut to that shot, and you could see him from a wide shot. You didn't need to go wide shot. Stay tight on Orton.
Yep.
And if you want to go to a quick wide, do a quick cut to him pouring the gasoline real fast and cut back. We get it. He's pouring the gasoline on him. We don't need to linger on it. They linger on it, him pouring the gasoline. Now, even if you're unconscious and you throw gasoline on a human body, you would still see the compression because the gas would highlight, the water would highlight the compressions, as your chest rising up and down.
Yeah.
And the gasoline would highlight that. It didn't because it's just a dummy.
Right. Right. Right.
It's
Right. Right.
a lifestyle
So I
manager.
mean,
And
but I mean, okay. So yeah, like, but I don't know. Like, it just there was something that was a little off-putting about like actually seeing someone in theory being put on fire, but
oh, it is. No, it is.
it's
It is
I'm
disturbing as
just
hell.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
disturbing
Like
as hell.
it's just so it's really I just feel like it was really jarring because of like everything we've been
It
accustomed
is.
to this
Even
year.
when,
And like in years
yeah,
prior, it's just like, okay, so now we've come to the point where
you have lit a man on fire. We
like
we we have lit a man on
cuz what was
fire.
okay, one thing I brought up in our Discord chat was, okay, we're going to see how they do an Inferno match while still keeping everyone involved as safe as possible. And
It did, and they did.
and yes,
And
having a dummy there in place of the Fiend is the perfect way to stay safe. But again, my point is, did we need to actually put the Fiend on fire? Unless, and this is the big thing I want to take away from this before we kind of start to wrap it up, because I do want to take us
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
Did we actually need to see the Fiend put on fire to the extent that he was, unless it's to write him off for some kind of break? because I feel like that's the only direction I feel like we're going with this.
They
Because
could. I
and
mean,
it
I
kind of
could see.
and it also
Yeah,
kind of makes sense if only because it's the end of the year now.
that's what I'm
So
thinking
like
too.
we're at the point since we're at the end of the year now, he doesn't necessarily need to even be on
No,
TV. And
he doesn't.
if he has any reasons why he needs to actually take a break, it's like yeah. And actually yeah, Kai has posted a tweet from Bray Wyatt, and yeah, it's a picture of a cocoon. So it looks like what's happening here is we might see an evolution or a transformation of
Yeah,
another one of Bray Wyatt.
a revamp
And
fiend. Yeah, the fiend.
I don't
2.0.
know what that looks like, but this is as good a time as any to do that because now you have the holiday break, which like
Yeah,
you know
Lexa's not there right now.
exactly
You could right now. Here's what they need to do with this. Here's what they need to do with this. He doesn't need to show up
right.
tomorrow. Don't be on
Right,
Raw
don't be
at
on
all.
Raw.
And
Don't
yeah,
even be like I would even go so far as be like
have
be gone for
fire
like the
up
next
himself.
month.
Have them talk about it. Yeah, he set him on fire. We don't know. We haven't seen him tonight. We don't know what's up. Bray. We don't know. We haven't even heard from Bray in a
Yeah,
while. We saw him fire. We haven't heard from. We don't know if he's okay. We haven't been able to reach him like that. We tried to we came out we made a picture of them like shh and suddenly or we came out we had people come out where then we put it out and there was nothing there. We don't know what happened. We don't know where he's at right now and everything. Or we know where he's at, but he's not talking to us. We haven't heard anything.
right.
Like they need to do just like that. They need to address. We tried to talk to Bray. He's not taking any messages. We don't know what the extent of his injuries are. We tried to get it. We're not don't know what's going on. All we know is already have footage of them running down. At the here. That's another thing they should have done. They another thing instead of ending, they should have had if they really wanted to sell that, they could have had maybe people running down with real
Yeah,
fast and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
like that.
Um,
Medics and everything. People we don't know. We're sorry. Have the speechless to where they go. We don't know how to address this. Orton may have crossed the line here. We don't
right.
know. And then like we talked to Bray. Bray is not pressing charge. Or they could say we talked to Bray. He's in the ward right now, hospital. He's not pressing charges. Orton suspended, something like that. Just
Right.
sell it
So
like
I
that.
mean,
But he,
yeah. So I get
I know we're saying this.
yeah. So
Yes, yeah, but
it's just and I think that's just what it is. Like the ending
yeah,
is so bizarre, but
it's just,
it does kind of open things up as far as like making you wonder what's gonna happen next. In
but yeah,
even the
that's the thing.
most weird way that it could, it's at least doing that much.
Where it is bonkers to the point where it's unbelievable to the point where now how are we going to, how they're going to
Right.
sell this? You're going to have to find out how they're going to sell this. Is the man actually dead? That's what the only problem I said is it comes to it should have been tighter on Orton and never really seen the Fiend only for like a few
Yeah.
seconds. And that's the mistake. I think it comes to the mistake of the way they were shooting it. Is we didn't need to see this thing. Yeah, he poured the gasoline. That's fine. Pour the gasoline real quick. Cut back to Orton. Orton go gets the matches. Or you don't need to see the Fiend anymore. Just like the match.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. Please get some. I would please get some officials out there. Somebody get out there right now. Anybody out there now? He's about to drop. Then you can see maybe the officials coming down. Orton looks at them, drops the
Yeah.
match like that, and
So
then like that, and then come out with the stinger or like that, and him go off him leaving. Or like that, and just we don't have to see because they went to the shot where they went to a wide shot where you see the body burning. I was like, what the?
yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah, yeah.
shot where they show the body actually burning in the ring.
That
I'm sitting there
I mean
like,
that I guess that's what I was trying to get at. That's the point where I'm just like, what are we doing
that's too
here? What
far.
are we doing here?
Yeah,
Um,
if he's dropped the match, like I said, usually when you go to the extent of he's dropped the match, and we see the flames maybe lick up in the air, and then he kind of go like this, and then we cut away, or something like, or people there with extinguishers and stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah, or him, or they did on his back or something, and he starts like that or something like that. It's just, it's like I said, it's now we get to the realm where we gone to the realm where he just set a man on fire. So
right.
where are we going from
No, that's
there?
yeah.
And
No, that's exactly my point. Um, no, it's okay.
well,
I think I feel
I
like
think we
there's so much to like really
so
Like
much to
yeah,
unpack here.
and that's honestly what I said at the beginning of this. There was a lot to unpack from this night. To the point where I'm like, this is probably, I feel like this is the longest we might have gone in some time on
Oh yeah,
reactions, and that's okay because there was a lot to
and it
talk about.
warrants. Yeah, it just warrants a discussion because we've gone to the realm of past almost
Mm-hmm.
reality to like I said, I know the fiend is supposed to be supernatural, but even at its most supernatural, even in the days of the Attitude where Kane gets lit on fire, it was Kane's arm or Kane's back
Yeah,
or
Kane's
MVP.
arm,
I think he had his
Kane's
back
back, MVP like got like
or
his
leg.
shoulder
That
or
was leg,
whatever, and they immediately
his
put it
shoulder,
out,
his leg.
and that was the end of it. And then like the next time they
But I
even did a match like it, they didn't even have the Inferno part of it. You know.
yeah. So I've never. This is the point where now, like I said, I know they're trying to do. He's clean. I mean, we've done the Undertaker. The Undertaker's always been the practical, buried alive, or well, he was buried in a coffin, but he was in a
Mm-hmm.
coffin. That's
Mm-hmm.
different. We see the coffin. We can apply. It's applied. He's in the coffin. He's being burned
Mm-hmm.
in the coffin. That's still in the
Yeah.
coffin. We don't set a body on
Yeah.
fire, and this it's an outline of a human body in flames. Lightning, yeah, lightning gets hit by lightning. Again,
Yeah. Exactly.
somebody gets hit by lightning, the person gets on flames. They put him out though. I remember I was there. I was there at that. I was in Tucson when that happened. When he lit a cameraman, a Kane lit a cameraman on fire. I believe. I think it was in Phoenix. It was Tucson. I can't remember which one, but he lit a cameraman on
Right.
fire.
They've
Yeah,
done
I was in
stuff.
Tucson. It wasn't
Yeah.
Tucson. It wasn't Tucson. It was in Tucson. I was at a live. I was at the live event when that happened, and I remember because this was a live. I remember that. I remember the guy, the stunt, the guy, everything. We suddenly see him point there, and the guy goes. You see the flames bust
Mm-hmm.
up for the guy all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, and he's like, ah! And we're like, stop, drop, and roll, stop, drop, and roll. We yell, the crowd's yelling at him, and he just suddenly does that. Then we watch it on Raw, and we see the lightning come down. So yeah, I've never seen that before. So that's a lot to unpack. So I'm gonna have to watch Raw now just to find out how the hell they're gonna address
Yeah.
this
Exactly.
and everything. So, but like I said, okay, we'll wrap it up here. Overall, I said it. I'll say overall, I thought it was a great show. I mean, overall, I thought it was a great show. I thought these were great matches. The opening match was fantastic. I thought the TLC match with, um, you know, Drew, AJ, and the Miz and everything. That was well done. I like that. Sasha Carmella match was okay. That was a solid match. Tag team titles, Raw tag team titles, which was fine. Oscar with Charlotte didn't win the titles. It's fine. Again, match of the night. I think Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns match of the night, and this match
Absolutely.
is just bonkers. I gave it. Honest with you, I give it. I gave it. I will get the bonkers ending gives it an A- for me because. Oh yeah, Omis and Omis. Like I said, Omis. As Christ said, Omis looking like a badass monster. Getting smashed in the back and like that.
Yeah.
That was good. And Hurt Business winning. So I say A-. I think that bonkers ending takes it to the point where it's just like this was unexpected, and quite frankly, I like it. I mean, I have to say it at least it gets me talking, and I'm gonna have to watch Raw now to find out what the hell's going on with that. What about you? Overall?
Overall, I gotta agree with you. There were just a few things that like kind of brought
Yeah,
the show down for me a little bit. But like
no problem.
I've already kind of stated those, like stuff like the fact that we had a TLC pay per view without a TLC main event, although for good, understandable reasons. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't, I'm still not sure how I felt about how the Inferno match and the show ended because of all the implications of it, as we've kind of just finished
Yeah,
discussing. Um, and I don't know, like, yeah, they're like I said, and those are mostly minor things. So ultimately, I gotta go with an A
yeah,
minus as well. Um,
yeah.
Now I do like I'll bring up like our friend Chris, who feels better and stuff. He did give us his final grade. He gave it a
Mm-hmm.
B plus. I'm going to assume that he feels some of the same as we do, but I feel like
Yeah.
maybe there were some things that he
I
didn't like that like brought it
Yeah,
down
there are a few
further.
things I think he said on Discord. I think he said I saw he didn't like about it, but overall he gave it a B plus, which, honest with you, is a high grade
Yeah,
for him when it comes to WWE pay per views from our past history. So I think that's a good thing.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's a good thing. I probably would like to hear what he thinks about this Inferno stuff, but we'll ask him.
yeah,
We'll ask him when we finally get back. And like I said, before we go, we wanted to talk about, being that normally we do our shows on Thursday, and Thursday is Christmas
mm-hmm.
Eve. So more than likely, I think we've discussed it. We're probably going to hold off for a
Yeah,
week and everything
the
being.
plan at this point is that we're gonna hold off on doing the regular show. Uh,
Yeah,
just take the holiday break, and
yeah,
if we do anything beyond that, then we will keep you guys posted. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I one last thing I do want to address before we do like finally wrap up. I was looking at the predictions challenge. I'll have to check with Chris later. Because as far as the predictions challenge goes, it boils down to either a tie for me and James for winning this, or James wins by one, and it kind of depends on whether or not we count the fact that Asuka did win the tag team championships, but not with the person that James thought it was. So that's something I'll have to check with Chris later. That's fine. So we're
Yeah,
either
I mean, we can talk
so
about that.
either the two of us tied or James is up by one, and that's fine. And this was
That's
something
fine.
that
I mean,
wasn't like with a punishment set
no,
because
it
we're
wasn't a
not,
competition. I mean,
especially because we're not
we
meeting
weren't
this coming
punishing him.
Thursday to
It's
do
fine.
the punishment. So um
Yeah. So
but yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on social media for any info on that. So you can find us on all the social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Power to the Smarks. I'm still working on updating OccupyProWrestling.com. I'm trying to figure out a new way of doing like articles and stuff because I have
I mean,
because right now I have a lot of drafts on kind of the queue, but the problem is the problem is I have to stay updated on the website and actually get them posted on a regular basis. So over the break, I'm gonna retool some things, and when we start off the new year, I'm gonna try to get postings more regularly, whether that's posting articles related to the videos we do or posts related to some of our site partners, like when our friends at
yeah.
the MFX podcast uh, do a new episode, or when our friends at Old School Wrestling, not the review website, but the EFED, when they do their live shows, keep you posted on stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so
We'll get it sorted out.
we'll
We'll
keep you
get it
posted
sorted
on the social media for all that info. Um, yeah, and actually, yeah, and the goal for the new year, more regular video posting as well, which you can
out.
find
Yeah,
on the YouTube.
yeah. That's
Which,
the
if
goal
you're
for
in
the
the
new
chat,
year.
the link is there. If you're not, we're also
Yep.
on YouTube at Power the number two the Smarks. Um, when
Yeah, that's our goal
yeah,
for this coming new year. We're gonna have more personal user content, from us, from me, from Alex, from Chris. We're gonna have our own personal
exactly,
videos and
yeah,
everything up, and we're gonna work on it in the new year coming up. So look forward to doing that. And for the website, he's gonna have, we're gonna
yeah,
straighten everything out. So
it's gonna be a
we'll
lot
work
of
on
fun.
that.
So until next time, in the
Yep.
new year, uh,
Well, I mean,
yeah, sometime,
it was
yeah,
it was fun doing this with you. I know I won't, we're fun. We had entertained everybody here. We want to thank our man Keist, who's also in chat
yep,
right now,
much appreciated.
for his jumping in and appreciate for being with us here. And definitely, like I said, it's this was, I would say, a bonkers way to end out the year in the
Hmm.
WWE. It's like 2020. How can we? Can we do now? And WWE's like, hold our flaming beer.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
until next time, I've been Alex Smiley, or yeah, I've been Alex at Alex Smiley plays on the Twitch. Uh, James has been James at JJ Titan Dog 70 on the Twitch. You can catch us on the Twitch when we start back up, and of course for our friend Chris at T-Bone is live on the Twitch when he streams next time. But until next time we meet together, have a great holiday. Enjoy the rest
mhm.
of this year, and let's hope for a better year in 2021.
Yeah,
Have a
yeah. And
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you guys
guys.
for hanging
It's
out
good,
with
like I
us, and
said,
thank you all for hanging out
hanging
with
out
us
with us.
tonight. Y'all have been real.
Wonderful, yeah.
It's been real.
Yeah,
It's time. It's time to get out of here for the year. Have a good night,
yeah, we're going.
everybody.
Later.